Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on December 4th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize at the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 15, 35, 42, 63, and 68. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 15 was red, the 35 was red, the 42 was purple, the 63 was orange, and the 68 was blue. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 15 and 35 were red. The 42 was purple. The 63 was orange. And the 68 was blue. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I got. I got 2 red, 1 purple, 1 orange, 1 blue for 4 colors total. So up here I'm going to make this 393 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 138 times. Okay, so what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. You can see that this has come up 206 times out of 393 drawings. So if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. And that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so I'm going to start in with these red numbers. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why this is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again I'm going to start in with the 15, the 35, the 42, 63, and 68. The next line down is the 15, so that's already taken. So I'll go to the 26, the 37, 53, and 55. And the last line is the 28. The 35 is already taken, so the 38, 61, and 66. And again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 2 and 4 are 6, 2 are 8, 2 are 10, and 3 are 13. So up here I'm going to make this 13. So up here tells me of how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start with the 7. The 15 is already taken. So the 39, 40, 57. The next line down is the 14, 22, 26 is already taken, 55 is taken, and the 63 is taken. So the next line down is the 23. 26 is taken, so 27, 28's taken, and the 66 is taken. So the last line is the 14, that's taken. So the 17, 35 is taken, 38 is taken, and the 60. So again, I'm going to make these orange numbers, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here, you can see I got 4, and 4 are 8, and 2 are 10. So up here, I'm going to leave this alone at 10. So I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card here. So what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like for December 4th, 2019. Again, there was 13 red numbers, 10 orange, turned out to be 20 green, 17 blue, and 9 purple numbers. Okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So the strategy here is to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 393 drawings. Okay? So it comes up, but it's very rare. So I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. And to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of this and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. So I kind of use this 50-50 picks as a roadmap to what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this first thing I'm going to do is make this 434 drawings. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card to find out what numbers came up. So I got an odd, odd, even, odd, even. So 3 odd numbers, 2 evens. So I'm going to highlight the majority. And as you can see, the 3 is highlighted here. So I'm going to make this 228 drawings here. So out of 434 drawings, 228 drawings have come up the majority of odd numbers, and 206 drawings have come up the majority of even numbers. So what I do here is I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority. So you can see out of this 5 drawings, the majority was even numbers, 4 drawings to 1. Okay, so looking at this, my prediction is that this is going to be evens right here. Okay, so I think the majority is going to be even, so I'm going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. Okay, and a big reason why I'm picking evens is that you can see that this odds has 3 to 2. It won 3 drawings to 2. Okay, now 3 to 2 comes up a lot. Okay, so if this evens comes up, then this will be odds 3 drawings to 2. Okay, so it comes up a lot, so that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so moving on to the next one. And I just want to point out that, you know, we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay, but for this one right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that more high numbers are going to come up than low. And the reason why is because I haven't seen a 5 to 0 in a little while. So it's down here, okay? And as I keep on going back into the history, it was here as well. Okay, so I just kind of have that gut feeling that it's due to come up. So I think that this is going to be 5 to 0, and what that means is that the majority to the high side will have to make that happen. So I'm looking for more numbers here in the red and less numbers here in the blue. So I'm just going to write that down as well. I think more numbers are going to come to the high side than the low side. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to go to left and right here, and I decided to go with more numbers to the left side. And again, the reason why is because that 3 to 2 comes up a lot. And I have a gut feeling that that's what it's going to be here too. So I'm going to go with more numbers to the left and less numbers over here to the right side. So I'll write that down as well. Okay, and I have one more, this red and blue area. Now you can see that the red is so far in front, 238 drawings to 196. So I'm going to predict that more numbers to the blue are going to come up. So when I go to eliminate numbers, I'll be looking to this red side to eliminate numbers. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers to that blue area than the red. Okay, so I'm going to make my decision on what color group will not be coming up, and I decided to go with no orange numbers. Okay, so another big reason why I'm picking no orange is because an orange number has come up in the last 7 drawings here. Okay, so I just think that is due to miss, like right here. So I'm going to go with no orange numbers to come up. So I'm going to block out these numbers. Okay, so when I block out numbers like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these orange numbers will come up in the next drawing. So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these orange numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. So basically what I did here is I divided the numbers into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1 that holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And the other 6 groups have 10 numbers to it for a total of 69 numbers here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this so you can see that the 15, 35, 42, 63, and 68 came up. So here's the winning Powerball numbers, and this 4 tells me that I hit 4 out of the 7 groups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 15, and now I'm going to make this red. Okay, so I already did that for the rest of them. Like here's the 35 that's already updated. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so how you read this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, now again, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority. But here I did it for a couple of different reasons. One, when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so again, there's 7 groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So I decided to go with no 30 numbers. Okay, so you can see that out of these 30 numbers here, you can see that there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers that have come up in the last 5 drawings. Okay, and that's a lot. Okay, the average is like 3. Okay, so 5 is a lot, and I'm hoping that there won't be a 6. Okay, so I'm hoping that there won't be any winning Powerball numbers right here. So I'm going to eliminate the 30 numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this thing back up, and I'm going to go back to the game card and eliminate the 30 numbers off of the game card. So here's the 30, 31, 32, 33 to 36, 37, and 38, and the 39 is already gone. So I'll take those off of the game card, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did here is I divided all the numbers into 4 different color groups. So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. So again, the 15 came up, so that's in blue. The 35 came up, so that's in orange. The 42 is in orange. The 68 is in orange. And the 63 is over here in green. Okay, so there are no winning Powerball numbers in the orange and the red area. There's 1 in the blue, that 15. There are 3 in the orange, the 35, 42, 68. And there was 1 in the green, that's 63. So if there's a hit, I colored the background red for hot. And if there's a miss, I colored the background blue for cold. Okay, so if there's a miss, I also mark where these blue marks are. Okay, so I'm going to make this 95, and that means that there's 95 of these zeros within this column here. Okay, so again, the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Now, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these red numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so I'm going to make a prediction on where I think these zeros are going to be. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. So the reason why I did this is because I have a group 1 overview here. Okay, so I only count the zeros. Okay, so there was 3 zeros like this right here among the 15 red areas. There's 5 in the blue areas, 5 in the orange, and 4 in the green. Okay, so what I decided to do was I said if a third of the option cards have a 0 to it, then I'm going to color the background blue for cold. If 4 of them or less have a 0 to it, then I'm going to color the background red for hot to give me some separation. So if I could correctly guess where a blue mark is going to come up, and I think it's going to be here in this orange area. Okay, I think that you can see that there's a bunch of single blues, and I'm hoping that it's time to double up, or like right down here. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at the orange areas to predict where that 0 is going to be. Okay, so my first pick is going to be option card number 2, no orange. So the reason why I'm picking this, and again, we're all going to look at this differently, but here you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros, and I'm hoping that it's going to double or triple up like right here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of my game card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 53 as well. Okay, so as you look at my game card, you can see that I got 5 numbers over here to the left. And as I go back to group 1, there's no numbers over here to the left. Okay, so what I really wanted was this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 in a lottery. So what I had to do was pair a couple of these squares up. So the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68. So if I get rid of all these orange numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 58 and the 69 with all these other numbers as a group. So this is my way of grouping up numbers. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one, and that's option card number 4, no orange. So the reason why I'm picking this one is because this has gone 18 drawings in a row where one of these orange numbers have come up. Okay, so you can see that this is a row, and what that means is that all 4 color groups were represented in the last drawing. Okay, so there was 3 rows in a row, and what I'm going to do is predict that it's not going to be a row right here or up here. Okay, so I'm going to predict that there's going to be a 0, and this 18 just really sticks out. Okay, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. Plus I'm looking at orange areas for the 15 option cards. So I'm going to get rid of this pattern of these 4 squares right here, okay, off of my game card. So I'll get rid of the 25 as well because it shares the square with the 65. And I'll get rid of the 58 as well. And this is already gone, so I'll just block out those numbers, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on, the next one I'm going to pick is option card number 12, no orange numbers. So here again, I think that it's time to double up like right here with the zeros. Okay, so another reason why I'm picking this is because, again, I think more numbers are going to be in this blue area. I think more numbers are going to be to the high side, okay? So I'm going to go with no orange numbers to come up, okay? So I'm going to eliminate all these orange numbers off of my game card. So I'll start with the 1 and then to the 4. And I'll get rid of the 8 because it shares the square with the 66. So I'll get rid of all those numbers. And again, hopefully those numbers do not come up. So I got one more that I'm going to go with, and this is option card 13. Now the reason why I'm going with this is because there's 25 of these single zeros here. And I'm hoping that it's due to double up like right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to get rid of all these orange numbers on option card 13, and that's the 5, 7, 14, 16, all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 14, the 48, the 55, and the 64. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. And that's all I'm going to pick from this group 1. So here's option card 14 and 15. Okay, so that's all I'm going to eliminate. So as I go back to the game card, again, the theory is that if none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be one of these highlighted numbers still left here on the game card. Okay, so hopefully I made all the correct picks so far. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, except with this one, I know that there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers and there's 8 different color groups here. So I know that 3 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this one as well. So I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, I'm going to update this. So the numbers that came up were the 15, which is in gray, the 35 is in orange, the 42 is in blue, the 68 is in blue, and the 63 is in gray. So I got 2 blue numbers, the 42, 68, 1 orange, the 35, and 2 gray, the 15, 63. So I'm going to go down to current, which is down here. So there are no winning Powerball numbers in the red area. There are 2 in the blue, the 42, 68. There's 1 in the orange, the 35. There are no winning Powerball numbers in the green area. No winning Powerball numbers in the purple. No winning Powerball numbers in the brown. 2 winning Powerball numbers in the gray, the 15, 63, and there are no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow. So over here I count how many groups got hit. So I got 1, 2, and 3. Now the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side. So when that happens, I color the 3 red. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, if I look at this 4 for whatever reason, I know that the majority of the numbers were over to the left side because this 4 is red. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, you know, to help me make a decision on where this 0 is going to be, okay, I like to break things down into 5, like I said. Okay, so out of this first 5 drawings, you can see that the majority was misses, and when that happens, I color the background blue for cold. And then you can see the next 5 drawings, the majority was hits, so I color the background red for hot. So the reason why I do that is when I see something like this where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color these in. So I know that these are going to be blue. I know that this is going to be red, and then the rest are on the verge. Okay, so I'm going to color these yellow just to help them stick out a little bit. And now I'm going to prepare this for the next drawing, for the next 5. Okay, and that's basically how it works. So here I'm going to color the background blue, green, because the majority is green numbers here. Okay, so now I look at this and I say, okay, which one of these yellow marks is going to turn blue? Okay, so another thing that I do is over here you can see this 6, so that means I only count the red marks. So you can see that there were 6 out of 8 color groups that had a red mark to it. Okay, so I'm going to make my prediction on where I think the 0 is going to be. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with purple, because you know, you can see that there was 2 blue marks here, or I should go to the very top here. You can see that the maximum is 3 here. Okay, 3 blue marks in a row, and I just have a feeling that this is going to be more than 3 here. I think it's time for a nice long run here of blue, so we'll see what happens. Okay, but I don't think any purple numbers are going to come up, so I'm going to eliminate these numbers off of the game card, and that runs from the 5 down to the 61. So I'll see what numbers are left on my game card, and you can see that there's no numbers here to get rid of. Okay, so what I want to explain here is that I keep track of all the stats for this, and basically the average comes out to 3.8 to 4.2, okay, for all 15 option cards. And what I mean by that, and what I'm trying to say, is that on average for all 15 option cards, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it. Okay, so I picked my purple. Okay, there was no numbers to eliminate off of the game card. So instead of coming back here, let's just say that I got this correct. Okay, for argument's sake, let's just say I got this correct. Now if I come back and I pick another color group like this orange to miss, alright, if I already got this purple one correct, then the odds of me getting this orange one correct go way, way up. Okay, so I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again. Okay, so I only make one guess and then I move on to the next option card. Okay, so here with option card number 2, I'm going to go with no red numbers. I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. Now you can see how hot things have been here, so I'm hoping that it's starting to cool down, and I'm going to get rid of all the red numbers, and that runs from the 1 to the 66. And you can see that there's no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the option card number 3. Here I decided to go with gray, so as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, which runs from the 6 to the 30 and the 35 to the 59. So I'm going to get rid of the 43, 51, 59, and hopefully these numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on, the option card 4. I'm going to go with gray. I'm going to go with green. So here's the green. As I scroll down, you can see that thing started off really hot, and here it is really hot again, and I'm hoping for a long blue streak like over here. Okay, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of these green, and that runs from the 29 to the 32 and the 57 to the 60. And there's no numbers to get rid of, so I'm off to the next one. Option card number 5, I decided to go with brown. And again, we're all going to look at this differently, okay? So again, we're all going to come up with a different result. So you can see that this has been really, really hot, and plus it's been 1, 5 is 6, 4 is 10, so it's been 4 drawings in a row where one of these brown numbers have come up, and I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm hoping that none of these brown numbers will come up, so I'll get rid of them off of my game card, and the only one is the 15, and hopefully that won't come up because it just came up twice in a row, so hopefully it won't come up a third time. Okay, so moving on to number 6, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red, and as I scroll down, you can see that thing's been really hot, and now I'm hoping for a cool down, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 3, 12, 19, 67, 28 all the way down, that pattern. So I'll get rid of the 1967, and I'll get rid of the 52 as well. I'm sorry, I'll get rid of the 1967 and I'll get rid of the 44. Okay, so you can see the 44 was supposed to go. Okay, so moving on to 7, I decided to go with yellow. So here's the yellow, and as I scroll down, you can see that things got really hot through here. So I'm kind of hoping for a long blue mark here, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers, and that's the 17, 26, 67, 28, that pattern all the way across. And you can see that there's nothing to get rid of. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to go with option card number 8, no red numbers. So here's the red, and as I scroll down through, you can see that things have been pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of these red, and that's the 5, 16, 21, 31. And the only one here is the 63. So I'll get rid of that. Now that just came up, so hopefully it won't come up again. Okay. So moving on to number 9. I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red. So things have gotten pretty hot. Now, the reason why I'm picking this one is this has gone 7 drawings in a row where one of these red numbers have come up. So I'm hoping that the 0's gonna come up next. So I'm gonna get rid of the pattern of 128 on the left side and 1522 on the right side. So I'm gonna get rid of this 47, and hopefully that number does not come up. So option card number 10, again I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm almost done. So here I'm going to go with blue. So as I scroll down through, things have gotten pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of these blue numbers, which is the same pattern of 267 in all 4 squares. And there's something to get rid of. So I'll move on to option card 11, where I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red, and you're going to see that this got really, really hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. It's the 614, 1765, 3543, 5664. And the only one left is this 56, so I'll get rid of that. Hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to 12, I'm going to go with gray. So here's the gray. You can see how hot things have been through here. So I'm hoping that this is going to be blue with a 0 right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, which is the crescent moon of the 2 to the 66 and the 38 to the 62. And there's something to get rid of. So moving on to 13, I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red. You can see how hot things have been. And now I'm hoping for a cool down with a 0 right here. So I'll get rid of these red numbers, and that's a crescent moon again from the 65 to the 28 and the 61 to the 64. And there's nothing to get rid of. So 14, I couldn't make a decision. I looked at this for a while and decided not to pick anything. So I don't have to pick at every single one here, okay? That's why I gave myself so many options. So here with option card 15, I decided to go with orange. So here's the orange right here, and you can see how hot things have been right through here. And I'm hoping for a big cool down with a 0 right here, and I'll get rid of these orange numbers. And that runs from the 1 down to the 64. So I'll get rid of that 10. And that will bring me down to 5 numbers. So for me, I'm going to go with the 11, 24, 41, 42, 52. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight these. And again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 11, 24, 41, 42, and 52. So I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Okay, let me go over the official odds. Now the official odds to get all 5 white balls in the red ball, the grand prize, and that's up to 120 million for this drawing. Okay, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get it correct. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the white balls. Now the odds are 1 in 11,688,000 that you'll get them correct. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, so another great prize to win would be 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays 50,000 plus the power play. And the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, so you can see that the odds are pretty steep. So I just want to give you some perspective that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so I do have something for the Powerball number itself. If you get the Powerball number correct, then it's $4 plus the power play, the winnings. Okay, so there's 26 red numbers. So over here in this column here, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. If you see a high number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay, so why the colors is because when I see a streak of blue like this, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so here I think that this is going to be blue, which means I think it's going to be a low number. Okay, and over here I have a gut feeling that it's going to be red. Okay, so I'm thinking that the Powerball number is going to be a low odd number. Okay, so I'm just going to concentrate on the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13 as the numbers that I'm going to choose. Okay, I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with just yet, but I think it's going to be a low odd number. Okay, so in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.